actually, for the first time this semester, everybody close your Chromebooks real quick. This won't take too long. You should have plenty of time to get the assignments done. For the first time this semester, I have a news story to do. Usually last year, I do news stories every single day. This year I've been a little busy, but actually I closed it out. So let me go to my history. Let me go to, there it is. Nice. So I usually try to do news stories at the beginning, and as this semester goes along, I should be doing more and more of these. I try to make them quick, although you probably know I like to talk a little bit, so sometimes I talk more than I should. But I just try to give you an idea of what's going on in science today on the really interesting stuff. Because let's be honest, the stuff we do here in chemistry class is old. It's been around for decades, sometimes centuries, and you're doing it because it's for a grade, and it's just not that interesting all the time. And so sometimes I want to show you, if you happen to be good at chemistry or some other science, and you happen to go to college and get a degree in one of those sciences, there are really, really interesting things that you can work on. And you don't have to be like a super genius or an Einstein to work on them. Just regular, everyday college students get to work on stuff like this. And so this has been going around in the news the last couple days. Hints of life on Venus. Scientists detect phosphine molecules in high-deck clouds. Basically, they discovered evidence that there could possibly be life on Venus. Note, this is physics.org. They're not trying to get like clickbait or anything. They're not trying to lie to people. They straight up tell you it's just hints of life. We don't know that there's life on Venus. There could easily be an explanation for this that we just haven't thought of or we haven't learned yet. But what is this and what's happening? So this group of scientists, and they even admit it was just kind of like a curiosity. They took a giant telescope. They actually did two of them because the first one, they got the readings and they were like, is this right? They went to another one that's even better and got even better readings. And they're like, okay, I guess we got to write a paper on this. So they pointed the telescope at Venus and looked at the light that is bouncing off of Venus. And what they saw is, let me take my video. They saw an absorption spectrum. So when you look at the light on Venus and you pass it through a computer and it kind of looks at everything, you see all the different spectrums of light. And then all of a sudden at a very specific wavelength, we will talk about light spectrum and wavelength later this year. At a very specific wavelength, it got real dim at that wavelength. It's called absorption spectrum. And it means that there's something that absorbed that wavelength of light and didn't let it reflect out from Venus. And so this is a very, very specific wavelength of light. And we got kind of lucky with this. There's only one thing that we know of. Now, there could be others. We might have to learn some new stuff and try to figure out what could be causing this. But so far as we know today, with all the technology and all the knowledge we have, there's only one thing that absorbs this wavelength of light, and that's the molecule phosphine, as you can see pictured here. It's a relatively simple molecule. I think it's nitrogen and 3 hydrogens, so NH3, which is really close to ammonium. So I think it's kind of a little bit stinky. But the interesting thing about phosphine is it doesn't really occur in nature without life. So there's two ways that we have phosphine here on Earth. It's either made industrially as like a byproduct, so we make it in a factory or making something else in a factory, and it's like a gas that comes out, which there's no factories and there's no like industrial chemistry going on Venus, or it's made by microbes. And so what they're thinking is that if there's phosphine on Venus, more than just a natural amount, there could be microbes on Venus that are producing this phosphine as kind of like their bodily byproduct. We don't know for sure. There's a lot of weird things going on Venus. They have super high pressure, super high temperatures. They have like acid rain and poisonous gas atmosphere. We've actually landed, not we as in America, but we as in humans. Russia has landed 2 landers on Venus, 2 rovers. Both of them died within an hour. And so not even our robots can survive on Venus. It's a very, very harsh climate. The temperature is like 420 something degrees Celsius all day, every day, even at night. So extremely hot, extremely deadly. But up in the clouds at the very, very top, the pressure is not that bad. It's about like it's here on Earth. And the temperature is not that bad. It's like 20, 30 degrees Celsius, which isn't too crazy. And so technically, there's a possibility that some normal microbes could be living up in the upper part of the clouds as just kind of like aerosol life, just always living in the clouds. There could easily be other explanations for this. The pressure and the atmosphere on Venus could be creating this chemical in a way that we've never seen here on Earth. We don't fully understand. There could be some reason that there's more of this chemical there than we expect it to be. We got to do a lot of science to try to figure out exactly what this is. But right now, the best possible explanation that we have until we learn something different is that there could be microbes there on Venus, which would be amazing. It would be the first time we've ever discovered life outside of Earth. We've identified some places that could possibly have it, but never had any evidence that it does actually exist. And so, obviously it's going to take years, if not decades, to try to confirm this. But if we do confirm it and we do find life there, we might look back on this week as like the week that we figured out that there could be something else out there. That being said, I've always tried to tell my classes, temper yourself about alien life, because when we find alien life, if we do, it's probably not going to be like little green men or smart like super beings. It's probably just going to be some microbes or some germs. And it's not going to be that exciting to us because there's no spaceships, there's no UFOs. It's just like literally microbes in the clouds. But if you're like me and you think that's actually how it's going to happen, news like this is kind of exciting because that could mean that there's life in our solar system. And if you play the numbers right, if our solar system, which is just a small one with some planets, if we have life on 2 of our planets out of 8, there's a good chance that all sorts of other planets in the universe have life on them. That's a numbers game. If we happen to have 2, there's almost no chance at all that there's no other planets in the universe that have life on them. And so it does get kind of exciting. There's a lot of work left to do with all sorts of different sciences. You need chemistry people working on this, trying to figure out if that's really the only way you can make phosphine. You need biology people to try to figure out how these microbes could be living here and how we can sample them. You need engineers to take that information, build a spaceship out of it that we can fly through Venus, and with only one chance, you only get one try, fly through Venus and scoop up some of that atmosphere and somehow see if we can get these microbes to grow enough where we can confirm that they're actually there and living. Because you just fly through once, how many microbes are you going to get? Probably not a lot. You got to make sure that if you get 1 or 2 of them, you have something that for them to grow and reproduce, kind of like when they swab the inside of your cheek or your nose to test if you have the flu. They got to put it in a petri dish and let it grow for a little bit to figure out what kind of infection you have. There's a lot of things that we have to do here, and it's going to take a long time. The spaceship's not even built yet. We have all sorts of stuff that we have to do, but within your lifetime, they'll probably either confirm or refute this and find out, is there actually life on Venus, or do we make a mistake? Do we jump the gun and not really understand what was going on here? So this is brand new science. It literally came out this week. This news article was written yesterday the 14th. And so this has been happening this week. And this is really cool stuff. If you happen to like chemistry or happen to like biology, you could end up at a university and be like, hey, I want to do something with this. You could get some telescope time. You don't have to go to Venus. Just get a little telescope time. Use some data that other people have put out there in the scientific community, and try to make your own hypothesis and guess at some stuff. If you're into engineering, you could build part of the spaceship or one of the contraptions that helps them sample this gas or test to see if there's life there. So yeah, this is your little science news story for today. On a side note, as I pull up Sapling, the Dallas Stars won last night. If you're not into hockey, I'm sorry for you. But maybe now's the perfect time to start watching a couple games because they're going to the Stanley Cup Finals, which in hockey equivalents is like the Super Bowl or the World Series. It's them and literally one other team left, which we'll find out who that is tonight. Maybe they still got to play a game. So yeah, this is like I've been a big hockey fan for a long time. The last time this happened, I was in high school. Literally 1999, they won the cup. 2000, they went back to the finals and lost to the New Jersey Devils, and they haven't been back since. So it's been a long drought, 20 years. But now they're back, and it's been amazing. I was running around my living room last night, like at 10:30 at night, screaming. Scared my cats and woke my wife up. But yeah, super exciting. I'm pumped up about it, and I will probably talk about it more than you want. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are going to start playing hockey because of this, even though the pandemic is on. When I was in high school, I played roller hockey, which is a little bit nerdy, but ice hockey is expensive. You got to buy a lot of equipment, and you got to be able to pay for ice time and stuff. So we just went out on the tennis courts and rollerbladed around and played some hockey. As an adult, I learned how to ice skate and joined an adult league at the Parks Mall. So if you've ever been to the Parks Mall and they have an ice rink there, I've played hockey there for a couple seasons. And I'd like to lose a little bit of weight and get back into it. And I was going to, and then the pandemic came and they shut everything down. And I don't want to go breathe other people's air right now. So maybe when all this kind of gets away from us and we can stop wearing masks, I'll go back and join an adult league. And I'm over 35 now, so I can play with the old guys because I don't want to get out there and get hurt by some young guy who's trying to prove that he could have made the NHL or something. But hockey's fun. Play sports, do things. Join a softball league as an adult. It's fun stuff. That's my little thing for the day. If you happen to be awake and the game happens to be on, stop and watch the Stars game. It might be pretty entertaining. Tell you right now, it's probably more entertaining than the Cowboys or the Rangers right now. So that's just my 2 cents. So today we have 2 assignments. Don't get too worried. They're easy and they're short. The first one is scientific calculators. Literally 3 questions. It's just some math. You can use your calculator here in class. You can probably use your calculator on your Chromebook. Just so the people at home can see. The only thing I really drive home is use your parentheses around your numbers in scientific notation. These won't really be there in the problem, so make sure that you put the parentheses around your numbers. If you're using one of my calculators here, use the little house to get you an exponent. But open parentheses, 3.24 times 10 to the 8th power, close parentheses. And one of the things you're going to see as you put it in the calculator, if you don't put the parentheses, how do they know when your exponent stops? Like your exponent, if you just keep writing 8 divided by 1.27, they don't know, is all of that in your exponent? Or are you starting a new number? So when you put the parentheses, it tells them, oh, I'm done with that exponent. I've stopped at the exponent of 8. Now I'm dividing, open parentheses, and put the rest of the numbers, and go ahead and hit enter, and you should be good. So if you have any questions or have any problems, please let me know. The other assignment is a quiz. It's only 9 questions, so you should have plenty of time to get both of them done. Just remember, this is in quiz mode, so you will not get a 4th guess. You only get 3, so take your time, and if you have questions, let me know, and I'll help you out. And for each wrong answer, it takes a little bit more off, but the grades have been fine from the first period. So just take your time and work on it. If you have any questions, let me know. This other assignment is still open from Friday. Most of y'all got it done. You can go ahead and get your calculator. Most of y'all got it done, but if you want to work on this, it is still open. It's there for another day or so. But those are the 2 assignments today. Scientific calculators and 1.3 math and science quiz. For those of y'all at home, go put on a Hawaiian shirt and enjoy your day. Pretend like you're on vacation, even though you're not. And have a good one. See you tomorrow.